What happens when you're deaf is you go through life spiritually ignorant. You know, we think about the value of education, right? Do we value education? Of course we do. We send our kids to school, starting at kindergarten, and we encourage them to get as much education as possible because we know that education is part of the pathway up out of life, out of poverty, out of challenges of life, that education is important. But oftentimes we don't think about the spiritual ignorance that is in our life, and the only thing that will overcome spiritual ignorance is being able to hear the Word of God and hear the wisdom of God in your life. And if you're spiritually deaf, you will not hear that. You'll not grasp that, and you'll stay in bondage to things that you should no longer be in bondage to. 2 Timothy 4, verse 4 is talking about the last days. I'm going to tell you that we're in the last days right now. Do you understand that? Okay. You say, well, how last are they? I don't know how last they are, but we're in the last days right now. We're headed toward the time that Jesus will come back again. And Paul the Apostle, about 2,000 years ago, was talking about the last days then, and it's still relevant today. He speaks of the culture during that time and the increasing dimension of a problem in the culture. They will turn their ears away from the, what will they do? They'll turn their ears away from the truth and turn aside to myths. Would you think that's going on in our world today? Oh my goodness, yes it is. And even in increasing measure before Jesus comes back again. That's why you need to have your spiritual hearing adjusted, okay? That's why you need to have your spiritual deafness removed. Why? Because we live in a world that is consistently turning their ears away from the truth. It will also produce spiritual resistance in your life, that when you don't hear well, that you don't respond to God. There's a resistance, or we might even use the word rebellion, that we rebel or resist God. Here we see in Ezekiel, the prophet speaks of this in chapter 12, verse 2. Son of man, you live among rebels who have eyes but refuse to see. They have ears but refuse to do what? It's not just a matter of ignorance, it's a matter of rebellion. They refuse to hear. They refuse to hear, for they are a rebellious people.